What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source of music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. I am tired as hell. Didn't get no sleep last night, but what do they say? Sleep is the cousin of death, and money never sleeps. That's why I work 7 days a week. So we're gonna get into a video about Christian groups going to banks and being debanked, their bank accounts being closed out without their consent and their knowledge. Before we do that, though, I want to give you a word from Dizzle Brand Premium Luxury Liqueur.
Are we drinking?
Me and my team, whenever we link up, they gonna be drink up. We still gonna relax and have few glasses when there's things to think about. Like I'm nice with the bars when I tend to the bars, and I'm not talking drink ups. So tell the bartender to the bar to please pass me a big cup up. And tell that waitress that's waiting on us to put a little ice in it. Now watch the ice become weightless like the spaceships that I be sitting in. Now wait and listen, they're waiting for that tropical twist that'll tickle your taste buds. Now taste some. Yo, I insist it's the
Dizzle.
I really mean it. You can Dizzle too. Dizzle is a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave, tequila, cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Just throw your Dizzle on ice and it's nice. If you want to order your very own bottle or bottles of Dizzle brand luxury liqueur, go to dizzlebrand.com. As you see, do you Dizzle, order at dizzlebrand.com. On the homepage, you'll see order online. Click on that link, and that will take you to Emilio's Beverage. Don't forget, you must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. Also, if you click on our locations, there is store locations in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas, which is the number one selling state for Dizzle. And there's also other online stores that you can order as well. And get the Dizzle Brand merch at dizzlebrand.com. Go to the merchandise store, or you can go to etsy.com as well, etsy.com. Search for Dizzle Brand, or etsy.com/shop/Dizzle Brand. And don't forget the Dizzle Brand gummies as well, now available at dizzlenova.com. I repeat, Dizzle Brand gummies now available at dizzlenova.com. All links will be in the description. All right, let's get into it. Just for disclosure, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim, not a religious person. I'm a laws of nature guy. Even though I don't totally follow the laws of nature, I believe in the laws of nature, but I live in a city under man's laws. So, following the laws of nature isn't going to really work in a society of man's laws. To follow the laws of nature, you got to go live out on the grid, like Native Americans. That's why I totally agree with the Native American lifestyle. That you don't live, we're not supposed to be living on the land. We're supposed to be living with the land, because that's how the laws of nature works. All right, let's get into it.
Thanks so much for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, the growing threat against Christian and conservative groups. It's called debanking, where some organizations can be denied financial services. We're going to bring you some examples of how this has already happened. Helping survivors of human trafficking will show you how Regent University is providing legal help so victims in Virginia can clear their records. Recovery and rebuilding in Morocco after that massive earthquake. We're going to take you to a remote where Operation Blessing is helping with disaster relief. And we'll see how one volunteer is helping after losing his own brother in the quake. And an unexpected salvation and baptism. A worship service at a major university turns into evangelism as some 200 people get baptized and their lives are given to the Lord. All those stories and more today on CBN Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch.
And let's begin this half hour with an increasing threat to Christian and conservative groups as they are facing a new kind of discrimination. Banks are...
And let me stop real quick before you get to this. Of course, they had to throw in conservatives at the end, because a lot of conservatives are Christians. I grew up Christian. My grandma, I went to church every Sunday with my grandma, but I was never baptized at the church that I went to every Sunday with my grandma. I was baptized in a Pentecostal church, a predominantly black church, which definitely worshiped God to the fullest. But like, I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Allah, any of these things anymore, because I don't believe in things that, there's no actual proof. I can see it, that it exists, that it's just based off assumption. I'm not into faith. I'm not into believing things that I have no idea if they're real or not. I'm only into believing things that I know are realistic in my grasp, like, financial success, building my business up, building my clothing apparel, help building up Dizzle brand, help, building this podcast up, the other new podcast, Live Vietnam. I only believe in things that I can see and obtain realistically.
Closing their accounts, turning off payment processors, and putting some on a donor blacklist. What's even more troubling is that these actions are carried out under the cover of our federal banking laws. CBN's Dale Hurd reports on what's behind this growing trend.
Banking has become weaponized. Christian and conservative groups are labeled high risk and then debanked or denied financial services. Among the
Okay, but how do you label a Christian group high risk? I mean, what determines that? What really determines that? And are they closing bank accounts or cults? And just for reference here, as a music promo and online marketing person, I had 2 of my PayPal accounts closed out because PayPal literally just stopped allowing music promotion companies and marketing companies to pretty much be on PayPal. They basically, I had one account that had close to 2,000 in it. They closed the account out and held my funds for 6 months. I was in no violation. They just, went on this, let's shut down music promo companies, because the thing with PayPal is normally when you order, you have to put a tracking like a tracking code in there for like physical products. But with services, you can't put just a tracking code in there for them to track the service. Everything is based off of screenshots of stats before and screenshots of stats after, and things of that nature. And showing the results and that it's delivered is different. And then some companies wasn't showing. Some companies were out there not even showing no results or no proof. They're just saying they did the service and don't even show anything. So they literally shut down 2 of my accounts, withheld all my funds for 6 months. Luckily, I had enough in my Bank of America. But what if Bank of America decided to do the same thing just because, it's pick on music promo company day, like it's pick on Christian and conservative group day with this story?
victims, Indigenous Advanced Ministries, which helps orphans and widows in Africa. Its account closed by Bank of America. Family Council of Arkansas, which works to promote traditional family values.
Shouts out to Arkansas, #1 selling state for Dizzle.
Canceled by J.P. Morgan Chase. And the pro-family processor after it was targeted by the Southern Poverty Law Center as a hate group.
The office manager received an email saying, "We're not going to do business with you anymore." She went right then and looked at our bank account and it was gone. The credit card processing was gone.
And what?
So hold up. Now, oh man, this is crazy. So now they're just finding ways, they're just classifying everything conservative as hate. They're classifying everything conservative as hate, is what it seems like. Because like literally, I watch Democrats, politicians call everybody that pretty much voted for Donald Trump a racist or white supremacist. And I think my sisters or brother-in-laws might have voted for him, and they're far more decent human beings than anybody, any liberals or anybody on the far left. I watched that. They basically, I'm watching truth and facts being called hate speech. Truth and facts is being classified as hate speech. I'm watching people being shamed and called homophobes and transophobes if straight heterosexual people won't have relationships with gay people or transgender people. I'm watching a bunch of predominantly conservative talkers or conservative talking point content creators being the ones that are being censored the most on social media. Russell Brands of the worlds, and so on. Now, they're debanking Christian groups and calling them hate groups simply because they're conservative. Simply because they're conservative. This is crazy. They're just labeling everything that's conservative or Republican as hate speech or hate views or hate groups or hate. And just to clarify, there's no such thing as hate speech. There's just speech. Hate speech is a speech that you hate. It's just speech that you hate. Like, hate is subjective. Like, I could say I hate broccoli, which I pretty much do. I don't like to use hate. I prefer to use dislike because hate's a strong word, but I hate broccoli. You could throw all the cheddar cheese. You could just smother all the cheddar cheese on top of the broccoli you want. And I still hate it. Yeah. This is crazy. So we're labeling Christians hate groups just because they're conservative. And I actually seen a video recently of Patrick Bet David. It's probably the best debate I've seen between Christians and Muslims. He had two Christians on there. One was a Morocco turned Christian, and the other guy looks like he was more Jewish, but he was Christian. And then you had two white Muslim cats, because people always have this perception that all Muslims are just their skin color or brown or black, like they're just always people of color, which is not true, which is totally false. Because if anybody knows anything about Malcolm X, it was literally a white Muslim who, when he traveled to Mecca, that basically, let him stay in his home and change his whole perspective on the white man, being like that all white men were his enemy. Then he realized it wasn't all white men that were his enemy. When this white guy literally has the exact same religion as you, and to be honest with you, is following, I would say, the doctrine to a T a little bit more and more devout in the religion because he wasn't showing no prejudice. Malcolm X was showing prejudice at first, and then he realized, oh, no, I'm a little wrong. Like, we should never ever judge, anybody from skin color at first. Always judge people from the character, for the most part. But like I did say something about when I reacted like to those kids that ran over the guy with the car. If I see tattoos on the face, I automatically assume that you pretty much made certain choices in society that prevent you from working legitimate jobs for the most part, because there's not too many legitimate jobs. Unless you're working in a tattoo parlor or construction, or you're just acting. There's not too many jobs that are hiring people with tattoos on their face. And most people, every job would see somebody with a tattoo on their face. Burger King's not hiring. If Burger King's not hiring people with tattoos on their face, that should tell you all you need to know about getting tattoos on your face in society. That you pretty much eliminated yourself from a lot of things in society and whatnot. But yeah, let's get back.
Qualified the Ruth Institute as an alleged hate group.
The dream
Alleged.
of the Ruth Institute is that every child be welcomed into a loving home with their own mother and father married to each other.
Even the
Ding, 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 ding. That's why they're calling it a hate group. Because they're talking about a mother and a father. You know, if you just say the word male or female, far left liberals consider it hate. Anything dealing with family structure, they consider hate. As they call the nuclear family, they consider that hate. I mean, I don't know if people are paying attention, but, liberals been tearing down the family for a long time. For a long time,
National Committee for Religious Freedom, a multi-faith organization headed by former U.S. Senator and Religious Freedom Ambassador Sam Brownback, had its bank account closed by J.P. Morgan Chase.
Of course, because he's guilty by association, apparently. That's what this looks like. Because I just saw him sitting there with Trump.
Went in to make a deposit at a branch here in Kansas about 3 or 4 weeks after we'd opened up the account, I think. And the teller there said, that account's been closed. I go, what? I said, yeah, it's that account's been closed. Your funds will be being sent to you in a couple of weeks.
Banking expert Nick Anthony says federal law gives banks a myriad of excuses to cancel groups whose values present what's termed reputational risks. He adds
You know what this reminds me of as a music promoter is when Spotify or somebody removes a artist's music and they never give them a reason why. They just they say it's the artificial streaming or it's this, that, and the third, but they never tell them where the artificial streaming comes from. And it's like, I'm not gonna say no names, but I had a client we were working, and he sent a screenshot from a distributor saying he had 96 artificial streams. Now, the song has over 30,000 streams on it. So I'm like, okay, well, this is the Common Sense podcast. Let me put on my Common Sense hat. I got my newsboy hat on today, but let me put on my Common Sense hat. If you could pinpoint 96 streams out of 30,000 and say, oh, those are artificial streams, then you can tell me where those artificial streams came from. But the fact that you don't, it tells me there's another objective here. There's another agenda here when you're going to tell a artist, hey, you got 96 artificial streams here, but we don't know where it came from. It's bogus. It's bullshit. Just like, when they make up these excuses and, they didn't even give them no reason. Like, oh, your accounts are closed out, your funds have been sent, and then they got to go through a process. And at the end of the day, they're going to come up with some bullshit excuse that really doesn't obtain to labeling them as a hate group. I guarantee it.
real culprits may also be federal regulators who can pressure banks to cancel certain groups.
Banks are deputized as de facto law enforcement investigators. And they face a very real consequence of missing anything. When banks have concerns about money laundering or suspicious source of funds, or they don't like where the funds are going for any reason, they're prohibited from telling customers what the actual reason is. They're prohibited from telling people that they filed these reports to the government and now something has gone awry.
That said, Anthony believes the law is also being used as cover to cancel groups banks don't like. Sam Brownback would later learn that J.P. Morgan Chase canceled his group after designating him as a politically exposed person with a customer risk profile.
What does that even mean? I'm going to close your bank account because you're a politically exposed person. Politically exposed. I mean, what does that even really mean? Does that mean that they think people can persuade him with money to swing one way or another with, votes or policies? What is that?
Designation that's only supposed to be applied to foreign nationals, not former U.S. senators.
Wow.
Nevertheless, J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said no apologies are necessary.
Of course
it's
not.
no secret that corporate boardrooms are under pressure from liberal groups to push DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which includes the LGBTQ agenda. The most powerful investment firm in the world, BlackRock, has stated that LGBT diversity is in their DNA, and nearly every major credit card.
What does that mean? It's in their DNA. Does that mean that they're all LGBTQ people? I mean, it was one thing when we were going through society and people pretty much we've accepted that there's gay people. But it's another thing when you try to conform us and convert us and shame us into agreeing with the lifestyle, totally accepting the lifestyle across the board, and conforming to applying to lifestyle to our own behavior, cramming it down our throats, calling us homophobes and transophobes if we don't get with the program and we don't conform. My stance has always been I accept that there's gay people in society. They've been here since the beginning of time. Do I agree with the lifestyle? No, I would never agree with the lifestyle. I talk to the gay dude at the store up here all the time. We have a conversation about politics and world events and things of that nature. But, he's a conservative Democrat, whatever the fuck that is. Whatever the hell conservative Democrat is. But he doesn't try to, force his lifestyle upon me, and I don't try to force mine upon him. And that's what's going on here. And then with the transgenders, I won't agree or accept that. I won't agree or accept that. You can call me whatever names you want to call me. I will never agree that a man could become a woman and a woman could become a man because it's not reality. It's make-believe, imaginary, made-up bullshit. And I'll never accept it. So call me whatever names you want to. I accept that there's gay people. I don't agree with their lifestyle, but I don't accept or agree with transgenderism. Case closed. Keep it moving.
Issuer has openly donated money to the LGBTQ cause, a cause most conservative faith groups oppose.
The profit motive is not their only motive anymore. The people who are choosing the regulatory process are people who have a vision for family life in America, for human sexuality, and they're using their power to create a world in their own image.
Bank of America, which closed Indigenous Advanced Ministries accounts, said religious beliefs are not a factor in any account closing decision, but that it would.
I got a Bank of America account, and I don't believe that one bit. And I think I'm gonna be moving my funds elsewhere here soon. I also got a Chime, also got Cash App, but I think I'm gonna be open up another account. I think there's a bank close to me because I also heard Bank of America is gonna try to go to full digital, and that's the thing though. Like, I'm pretty much full digital anyways. So I don't have a problem with Bank of America going to digital currency because they're pretty much full bit digital anyways. I, never spend anything with cash hardly. Every now and then I get cash out, but I never buy anything in a grocery store cash, convenience store cash. Everything is all card anyways for me. Everything is all Cash App, Chime card, Bank of America card. I'm pretty much been digital anyways. But when you could just sit there and do me like PayPal, Bank of America, you could say, well, you got a music promo company, so we could just close you down. Da 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 da. Or we found out you're a podcaster who actually seems like he's pretty conservative. Even though I've never voted Republican in my life, I voted one time Barack Obama. I got bamboozled and swindled out my vote. He didn't do shit for black people. Yeah. So there's that. And that's when I realized, oh, this shit is rigged totally across the board. Totally across the board. People always be like, well, you need to vote for lesser evil. How about I vote for none of them evil motherfuckers? How about you're the sad, pathetic one voting for evil. I decided to not vote for none of them evil motherfuckers. But I'll tell you this much. I will tell you this much. I'm calling it right here, right now, today on this podcast. If Democrats run Joe Biden up there again, I'm voting for Trump. If they run this old ass motherfucker, clearly who's too old to be president. Anybody who says Joe Biden is not too old to be president is dumber than a bag of bricks or a bold-faced liar. You're one of the two. You're dumber than a bag of bricks or a bold-faced liar. But y'all can run Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, run Michelle Obama. Run the fucking rock for all I care. But if you run Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee, I am going out and voting for Trump just because, like everybody else fucking did when they voted against Trump because they hated him, because he's an asshole, because he's talk shit, because he's not kiss ass, fake actor, politician, nice guy like Barack Obama. So because he didn't put on a fake, fugazi, fraudulent act like Barack Obama, who's a fucking gangster. Barack Obama is a gangster. Had innocent children and women killed. A motherfucking gangster. Barack Obama is a gangster. Acting like he's the nicest motherfucker on the planet. It was all fugazi. At least Donald Trump is being himself. He's showing you his true fucking colors. We know Biden is fugazi as hell. So, yeah, you run Biden out there who's clearly too fucking old. I will vote for Trump just because. So, y'all better not fucking do it. Because Biden shouldn't have been in fucking office in the first place. Anybody should have been a Democratic nominee but Joe Biden. And he's clearly not running the fucking country. The motherfucker is not competent to run the country. The motherfucker can't even say LL Cool J. He can't even read LL Cool J from a fucking teleprompter. And when it gets to New Edition and Michael Bivins, making music for our souls. He ain't even listening to New Edition and Michael Bivins a day in his fucking life.
Was because of a side business of debt collection services run by the ministry. While we found an instance where a liberal group was debanked, most have been conservative or faith groups.
Of course
After
they
his
have.
experience Brownback started a website called Chased Away so others like him could share their story.
You ought to be able to be a Christian if you want to and use whatever bank you want to and not be excluded based on your values or peacefully practicing your faith.
Unfortunately,
I gotta stop again. I don't believe in Christians, Muslims, religion, but damn, if a person can if a man can make believe they're a woman and a woman can make believe they're a man, why can't people believe in a religion that is make believe? In my opinion, there's no truth to God or Jesus really existed, or they are who we think they are. I think mankind has a wrong perception on what God is. If I had to say what God is, in my opinion, I would say the sun, the actual sun is God. It's the numeral. The world, all life revolves around the sun, right? The planets revolve around the sun. They rotate around the sun. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, all that. The sun is, what are we going through? We're going through global warming, as they say, climate change. They talk about climate control, but you can't control the sun. And if something is going to destroy the world, it's probably going to be the sun.
Anthony expects the debanking trend to continue until Congress finally changes the banking laws to protect people of faith. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
All right. I don't even need to hear the reaction from this cat. I've heard enough. Like, this is scary shit. We're going down a very scary territories where people could be debanked. People are being debanked because their religious views and their political views. People have been fired because of their religious views and their political views. You had the firemen up in Greensboro got fired for posting straight pride. Like, you can't be proud to be straight. What the fuck? So you're only supposed to be proud to be gay. Okay. No, that I'd rather throw up in my fucking mouth. To be honest with you. Yeah, I'm about to throw up in my mouth thinking about that. Yeah. So once again, double standards, hypocrites. And matter of fact, let me hear what he got to say real quick.
Turning now to some other important stories in the news.
Okay, he's just getting to another story. Yeah, this is a slippery slope. I can tell you right now, if conservatives get the office back, they're definitely going to change this. And liberals, man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm in the middle. I'm in the gray area. See, we wearing a gray shirt today. We got the gray hat on. We in the gray area. I don't see black and white. I don't see black and white. I'm in the gray area. So liberals, they're gonna keep weaponizing these things, and these things are gonna backfire. You're gonna keep weaponizing these things like debanking and weaponizing, locking up political opponents so they can't compete in elections. You're gonna continue using these things to weaponize, using social media to censor political opponents, to censor news outlets from reporting the Hunter Biden stories and things of that nature. Because I can guarantee, if news outlets are reporting dirt that Trump's kids did, they're going to hold it against Trump. I guarantee they're going to hold it against Trump. I guarantee that. Like, these double standards and hypocrisies that the left has, that they're weaponizing, man, if I'm gonna tell you what, Trump gets in office, this shit's gonna backfire on them so bad, and I won't feel sorry for them one bit for weaponizing things that shouldn't be weaponized, like weaponizing social media, censoring people. I would never side with censorship. I would never side with the side that's doing the censorship. That alone is enough to make me choose the other side. Soon as you bring up censorship, oh, I can't side with you. I am a musician. I'm a rapper. I promote music for a living. I podcast every day. I just launched another podcast. No way, no how can I side with the side that's doing the censorship. And I sure as hell can't side with the side that's called everybody that voted for Trump a racist when my sister and my brother-in-law, I think, voted for Trump, and they are Christians, and yes, they're conservative, but they are far more decent human beings than any of the people that called them racist for voting for Trump. Far more decent human beings. My sister and husband are the best parents I've seen with my own eyes in my whole lifetime. I'm 44 years old. I have never seen a better set of parents in my life than my sister and my brother-in-law. Every step of the way, they're teaching their kids right from wrong. They don't sugarcoat history and the stories. They let their kids know, hey, yeah, George Washington did this for America, but he also was a slave owner. These are the flaws. Yes, he might have did this, but he also did this. That's the thing. Like, but we're now at a point in history where we gotta, if you have any flaws, which it really reeks me that the people that are calling out flaws in people in history act like they don't have evil flaws. They don't have hypocritical flaws, double standard flaws. They don't have a bunch of flaws that we could call out and crucify as well. So, yeah, this is a slippery slope. This is really scary when you could be debanked for a political view or a religious view. I wonder how long before this happens to Islamic and Muslim groups. They might be okay because they vote predominantly Democrat because of George Bush's Republicans doing what they did during 9/11, which makes a lot of sense. I could understand why Islamic people would still have that resentment and still, that is short-term history. We're talking about something that happened recent that the people alive actually experienced. They experienced the oppression while they were alive. The oppression that America is still fighting against is part of the oppression is oppression that, I have to throw it out there, modern day people never experienced. A lot of the oppression that people are complaining about nowadays in America, the people nowadays didn't even experience. But the Islamic people, they experienced it during 9/11. Very recent, where they were targeted just for their religions. And a lot of them vote Democrat just because of that. But I could see a shift in the tides with this transgenderism, with the trying to indoctrinate kids in schools. Like, Islamic kids go to school too. Muslim kids go to school too. So yeah, I think there's a matter of time before it's a shift. You already got Muslims and Christians out there protesting against schools together. They got actual footage and videos of Muslims and Christians together protesting against pride flags in school. Teach these books that they got where they're trying to teach kids blowjobs in schools and teach boys to do blowjobs to other boys in school. And that's something that my sister and her husband are just not going to allow their kids. If their kids go to a school and that's in the school, I'm pretty sure they're going to be pulling them out of that school quick. And luckily my sister is a teacher and she's pretty much, even the teacher teaches them something, she goes behind and makes sure the teacher ain't teaching them the wrong info. And that's the thing. It's up to parents to go behind the teachers and proofread the teachers. Make sure the teachers are not trying to indoctrinate their kids nowadays, especially. So once again, I'll thank you for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast. And I'm out.